Hi guys, it's Marda here from Two Trees in the Garden of Eden. A few of you have asked me in the last couple of years how I do my research and what Bibles I read and which is my favorite scriptures to read and what Bible must you buy and all these questions, and I normally answer each one of you individually, but recently the question has become too frequent, so let me do a quick video for you. This is Esort. It's called Esort, the Sword of the Lord with an electronic edge. Now, this is a free download. You can download this for free from, from Google. You just go to Google and you type in Esort download. All right, and then you can just make sure that you go to the website, this one that says esort.net, where you can get your free study. So what you find on Esort, you can download whatever translations you want. So I have the Afrikaanse ou vertaling, I have the Brenton English Septuagint. So the Septuagint is the Greek version of the Old Testament. Then I've got the ERV, the easy to read version. I've got the ISV, International Standard Version, the normal King James, and then the King James with Strong's Concordance numbers. I also have the King James, the newer version. I've got the Tree of Life version. I have the Scriptures, 2009. So the Scriptures is nice because it's got Yod Heh Vav Heh, and it's got Yeshua, and it's got all the Hebrew names. I also like Webster, and I'll tell you about the Webster's Dictionary a little bit later on. I have the Young's Literal Translation. This is also sometimes when you do your comparison, when you say compare, then you can look at a specific verse in all the different comparisons. So, for instance, this specific verse, and the Lord spoke, the Lord, the Lord, the Lord, the Lord, the Lord. But the TLV says Adonai, Webster says the Lord, and the YLT says Jehovah. So just to give you an idea, but of course this is just a very easy example. You can take, when it comes to a little bit more difficult verses, you can really go deep into the meanings of words when you have your comparison like this, and especially when you have your King James with your concordance numbers. Let's look, for instance, at the word ungodly. So here is the word ungodly, and let's make it a little bit bigger. So ungodly is Strong's H7563. So now you can click on H7563, and in the Strong's Concordance, you can now look at the original Hebrew word that the word ungodly was translated from, and that is Rasha. Rasha. Now, Ra, for instance, is the god, the sun god of the Egyptians, Ra. So anything that has to do with evil or wrong or bad will always have the word Ra in it. So Rasha means to be, the word ungodly in the Hebrew is to be morally wrong, to be a bad person, to be guilty, to be ungodly, blah, blah, blah. But you also have the root word. So sometimes the Strong's Concordance in this Esort version will give you the root word. And then the root word, when you look at the number 7561, then here on the right, see here on the right, you can now go to 7561. So there's Rasha. But sometimes you can go at 7560 and you can get Resham, 7562, Resha, iniquity, wickedness. So all your words that are related to one another will have, what is the word now? It will have numbers that follow on each other. So where the original 7563 is Rasha, it only says to be a bad person, to be ungodly, to be wicked. But then when you go to 62, you can see that it means to be wrong, to do iniquity. Now, when you do a further search on iniquity, you will find that that is lawlessness. which means it's against Torah. So to be ungodly is when you research a little bit deeper than just the standard, you can then find that it's got to do with lawlessness. But you must also, when you download the Esort, besides all the translations that you are downloading over here, you also need to download your dictionaries. So again, I have the Webster's Dictionary. All right, so then you go to Webster's and you look for that same word, ungodly, and it will tell you wicked, neglecting the fear and worship of God, or violating his commandments. Look at this. This is why I love the Webster. But you need to get the 1828 version, the original Webster's Dictionary. It means to be sinful, contrary to divine commandments, polluted by wickedness. Do you see how helpful this is? Very nice. Then you have the scriptures. The scriptures 2009 explanatory notes. It doesn't always have everything that you want to find, but let's see if we can find ungodly in the notes. Go down, S-T-E-V-V-X-A-Z. So on ungodly, it doesn't have any notes, but not to worry. You also have the Smith. You've got the Strongs that we just looked at. You've got the King James C Concordance. So on the King James Concordance, this is where you can actually then find all the verses where this word is used. Rasha, that actually means wicked. It's the same as ungodly. And here's the rest of the verses, all the verses right through the Bible where this word Rasha is being used. Lovely. It really makes your Bible study open up a whole new world to go and look for all the verses so you can see who in the Bible is defined as ungodly, what is defined as ungodly, and then you can build your big puzzle piece with that. I also love the Brown Driver bricks. So Rasha, according to the Brown Driver bricks, means criminal, to be wicked, to be hostile against God, to sin against man or God. What's nice about the Brown Driver bricks is sometimes when you can't find a good enough explanation on a word in the King James Concordance, then it's great to go and dig a little bit deeper with the Brown Driver bricks. All right, so that is for the Hebrew, but now what about the Greek? Because remember, the New Testament, the only manuscripts we have is indeed in the Greek. So again, for every word, here for instance, we've got God. God in the Greek is G2316. So we go to Strong's Concordance. G2316 is theos, which means divinity. All right, so that is nice. It's Esort for your computer. And then for your phone, you can try My Sword, King James Version. And again, you can, when you download this on your Android, so My Sword is the same as Esort, but it's for your cell phone. Again, make sure that you go to My Sword info, myswordbible.info, which is the same as the Esort version for your computer, and then you can download that on your telephone. And you can have all the translations and the dictionaries and the concordances right on your computer and on your cell phone. And it's very, very user-friendly. You don't have to be able to read or understand Greek or Hebrew. You can still do your research like that. This is the Aramaic English New Testament. And you can order it from Netzari Press. Just go to Google and look for Netzari Press and then ask for the Aramaic English New Testament. So on the inside, you have on the one page the Aramaic, which is very similar to the Hebrew. And then on the left-hand side, you have the normal English. They also have an appendix at the back. So the appendix has a couple of very interesting topics that you can work through. I do agree with about 99% of the stuff that they discuss here. So this is definitely one of the Bibles that I can strongly recommend. This is the Interlinear Bible. It gives you the Hebrew, the Greek, and the English. So, of course, Old Testament will always be in Hebrew. So for every, you can find the English verse, and then you find the Hebrew equivalent. And below every Hebrew, or above every Hebrew word, you've got the Strong's Concordance number, as well as the English word for that specific Hebrew word. And then, of course, in the New Testament, you have the English again, and then on this side, you have the Greek. Now, I cannot read Greek at all, but again, because we have the Strong Concordance number, it does help quite a bit. So you don't have to be able to read Greek or English to do your Strong's Concordance research. So this is my favorite Bible that I use the most. It is quite a thick, it's been used many years, but it's a very thick Bible. This is the Restoration Scriptures True Name Edition, and it also has the book of Yasharin, which is great. This Bible you can order from, there we go, www.restorationscriptures.org, but unfortunately it is extremely expensive, so it's about $4,000. But I've invested in this Bible. It does use the Hebrew names. It uses Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh's name. It shows you wherever Yeshua is in the Old Testament, which is great. And of course, it uses a lot of cross-references. That is absolutely amazing. Only thing I don't agree with this translation is in their comments, they say that the beast will be mostly Islam. So they exclude all the other potential candidates for the end time beast, and they say it's purely Islam. This is my King James version, but the cross-reference one, also a little bit more pricey than the normal one. I'm not a King James version fan, but your interlinear Bibles, all your Greek and Hebrew lexicons are based on the King James. So if you want to do cross-reference searches and you want to go into the original Greek and Hebrew, it's always based on the King James. So I do use the King James cross-reference version. I like all the cross-references. It's not always 100% correct, but it does give a great guideline. And as far as possible, I also add quite a lot of cross-references. I would love to be able to write this Bible out from beginning to end and add all the other cross-references I have. But yeah, the King James version with cross-references does help me a lot in my research as well. Then it's always a good idea to have a nice Hebrew dictionary. Webster is a great idea. Webster is actually, I do have another Webster. Where's my big Webster? Here's the original Webster American 1828 dictionary. Now, what's the difference between a Webster's dictionary and a normal dictionary? The thing is with Webster, because it's the 1828, this is the original dictionary there was. So a lot of times definitions of words have changed over time. Like for instance, gay. In the 1800s, when you were gay, you were friendly and happy and vrolijk en opgewonde. But now when you are gay, it means something totally different. In 1828, when you were cool, it meant that you were not hot. You didn't feel that you were overheating. You were cool. But these days, cool has a totally different meaning. So what's nice about Webster is that it gives you the original meanings, definitions of words. And then when you get a nice Hebrew dictionary, it helps a lot because it's also based on the Webster original definitions, but then it goes into the Greek definitions of that. I use this dictionary less than I use the lexicon. I use the lexicon much more than I use the dictionary. I'll only go to the dictionaries if I'm not satisfied with what I can find in the lexicon. And then lastly, we have the Oncolossus. The Oncolossus is basically a deep study in the origins of words. So if you don't come right with your lexicon and you don't come right with your dictionaries, This is something that a lot of people are not going to be able to afford. I've saved a lot of money to buy the Oncolossus range, but it will give you the chapter in English as well as in Hebrew, and then it will go into detail about where exactly the word came from and what it means. I use the Oncolossus the least. I only come to the Oncolossus if step 1 and step 2 is not enough. Then I'll go to the Oncolossus.